The words hit me like physical blows as I stood in the doorway of my own kitchen. "You can take the guest room or move out," my mother said, not even looking up from her tea. My sister Olivia leaned against the counter, designer sunglasses perched on her head, a smirk tugging at the corner of her mouth. The family photos I'd dutifully updated every year seemed to mock me from the wall. 5 years of my life invested in this house, in keeping my grieving mother afloat after Dad died. "It's not like you don't have options," Olivia added, examining her manicured nails. "Someone as practical as you must have savings." My fingernails dug crescents into my palm as blood rushed to my face. The betrayal wasn't that they wanted me gone. It was the casual way they discarded me, like furniture being rearranged. Behind them, Olivia's husband Pete scrolled through his phone, already mentally claiming my space. "My name is Melanie. I'm 28, and for 5 years, I've been invisible in my own life. This is the story of how I disappeared completely and took everything with me." The mortgage statement sat on the counter, the one I just paid that morning before work. 5 years of payments made faithfully from my account, while I turned down promotions, canceled dates, and postponed my life to care for the woman now telling me I was disposable. I'd stayed when Olivia fled after Dad's funeral, crying dramatically in her silk scarf before catching the first flight back to her Instagram perfect life. "You're serious," I said, my voice steadier than I expected. Mom shrugged, already turning away. "Olivia needs her childhood bedroom back. The master suite is mine, obviously. So, unless you want the guest room—" "With the leaking ceiling and mold problem?" I interjected. "Don't exaggerate," Mom sighed, exchanging an eye roll with Olivia. "It's just a little water damage." "I always wanted Olivia back here," Mom continued, her voice softening as she looked at my sister. "She belongs in this house." The unspoken words hung in the air. "You don't." "I've been paying the mortgage," I reminded her, my throat tight, "for 5 years. Mom shrugged again. "It's in my name. And you've always acted like you were doing me some big favor." "I never asked you to stay," she added, the casual cruelty landing like a slap. I turned and walked upstairs without another word, each step a thunderclap in my chest. In my bedroom, I sat on the edge of the bed I'd purchased when Mom complained the old one squeaked. Through the wall, I heard laughter, then Olivia's voice. "Do you think she'll actually leave?" My gaze fell on the manila folder tucked on my bookshelf, the one containing the company housing offer I'd declined months ago, believing Mom needed me. Studio apartment, clean, close to work. No screaming, no guilt, no Olivia. My hand trembled slightly as I reached for it. The next morning, Olivia knocked on my door with mock cheerfulness. "Hey, Mom says if you could be out by Saturday, that'd be great. Pete and I kind of need this space." I looked past her shoulder to the hallway where I'd hung family photos every Christmas, where I'd painted when Mom decided the color was depressing, where I'd measured Olivia's height on the doorframe as kids, always marking her growth with stars while mine got simple lines. "Excuse me?" I said. She leaned against the doorframe, eyes bright with something like victory. "Come on, you've been living like a spinster. This will be good for you, a little fresh start." I shut the door in her face. By Friday afternoon, I'd filed for transfer, secured a company apartment key, and scheduled movers. I packed methodically, clinically. No one offered to help. They were too busy planning Olivia's homecoming party, debating paint samples for her bedroom walls. Olivia wanted to repaint the kitchen. Pete asked if they could swap the couch for a sectional. Saturday morning arrived with unseasonable heat. The movers looked surprised at the mountain of boxes on the porch. "You ready for the big move?" one asked with a friendly smile. "Yes," I said, feeling my shoulders straighten. "Let's get started." We loaded everything. My bed, purchased after Mom complained about the old one's springs, my bookshelves assembled during lunch breaks, my coffee maker, my desk, my dishes, each item a memory of trying to make this house comfortable on my salary. With every box, I felt lighter. By early afternoon, the truck was nearly full. "Everything?" one of the movers asked, gesturing to the TV mounted on the living room wall. The one I'd bought when Mom said the old one hurt her eyes. I nodded. Everything. The couch, the dining table, the microwave, the refrigerator, The washing machine I'd replaced last winter. The patio furniture Mom never used. Everything purchased with my paycheck, delivered on my days off, assembled by my hands. When the truck finally pulled away, the house I'd once called home stood hollow. No TV, no coffee table, no dining chairs, just dust outlines where my life used to be. I turned in my new keys that afternoon, exhaling as I stepped into the studio apartment. Small but bright, clean. The fridge didn't make that rattling sound that Mom always blamed on my rough handling. The shower had water pressure that didn't fluctuate wildly. I sat on my mattress and breathed freely for what felt like the first time in years. That evening, my phone lit up with increasingly frantic messages. Mom, where is the refrigerator? Olivia. Did you seriously take the washing machine? Mom, call me immediately. Pete. This is ridiculous. Your mother needs her medication from the fridge. Mom, I can't believe you would do this to your family. Olivia, you're being childish. Bring back our things. I turned off my phone, made tea, and watched the city lights from my tiny balcony. Mine, all mine. After a peaceful weekend setting up my new apartment, I returned to work Monday morning, dreading the inevitable. They showed up at my workplace on Monday, outrage radiating from them like heat. I stayed in the loading bay until security confirmed they'd left. I wasn't going to give them the satisfaction of a confrontation on my turf. That evening, I drove directly to the house, preparing myself for the inevitable confrontation. The porch light was on, but the living room was dark, probably because I'd taken the lamps. I knocked once before using my spare key. Mom and Olivia stood in the kitchen, arms crossed, expressions thunderous. The room echoed with emptiness. No refrigerator humming, no microwave, not even the basket of artificial fruit I'd bought to brighten the counter. What the hell did you do? Mom demanded, voice tight with fury. What are you talking about? I replied calmly. You cleaned the place out. There's nothing left. No fridge, no table, not even the toaster. That was mine, I said evenly. I bought it, like I bought everything else. Olivia stepped forward, perfectly sculpted eyebrows furrowed in disbelief. You can't just take things without permission. I didn't, I replied. You assumed they were yours. That doesn't make it true. We didn't think you'd take literally everything, Mom snapped, gesturing wildly at the empty kitchen. I shrugged. What exactly did you expect? The house feels like a shell, Olivia said, her voice dropping to something almost vulnerable. It's depressing. I raised an eyebrow. Oh, I'm sorry. Is the house I paid for not comfortable enough without my things? Olivia's eyes narrowed suddenly. What about the bank account? What? The joint account, she pressed, stepping closer. Dad's insurance money, it was deposited there, remember? Her voice took on a strange urgency. I checked yesterday. There's nothing left. Understanding dawned, cold and clarifying. I let out a soft breath. That money was gone years ago, I said. I've been covering the mortgage on my own for the past 4 years. Olivia froze, color draining from her face. No, there was a ton left. I saw it once, like 40,000. That wasn't insurance money. That was me, saving portions of my paycheck to supplement the mortgage and utilities. No way, Olivia muttered, turning to Mom with growing panic. I tilted my head. Why does it matter? You're not on the deed. It's not your house. Mom's expression flickered. Surprise, then something like fear. Olivia spun toward her. Is she lying? Olivia demanded, voice rising. When Mom said nothing, she stepped closer. Mom, tell me she's lying. Mom looked away, suddenly fascinated by the empty countertop. Mom! Olivia's hands clenched into fists. You told me the insurance payout was still sitting there, she continued, voice cracking. That if we came back, we'd be okay. That we could use it to get back on our feet. I looked between them, the final piece clicking into place. You came back for money. Olivia rounded on me, all pretense abandoned. You think we moved in for family bonding? Pete and I are drowning in debt. He got fired 2 months ago. We've been maxing out credit cards. Her voice rose with each word. You think I actually wanted to sleep in my childhood bedroom again? Mom tried to interject. She didn't mean it like, "Yes, I did," Olivia shouted, tears welling in her eyes. "I meant every word. I wouldn't be here if you hadn't promised there was money." Mom's face drained of color as her carefully constructed narrative imploded. "And you," Olivia growled, jabbing a finger at me, "took every last thing in this house and left us with nothing but empty promises." I crossed my arms. "No, I left you with exactly what you gave me. Nothing." Olivia's lips trembled with fury. "The insurance money was supposed to be shared." "You mean the money you thought you'd inherit?" I said coolly. "The money you never paid into, never contributed to. We wouldn't be in this mess if you hadn't emptied the house. We wouldn't be in this mess if you hadn't banked your entire future on a lie." Olivia turned back to Mom, eyes wild with betrayal. "You said it was still there." Mom's voice came out barely audible. "I thought we'd figure it out later." "Later," Olivia repeated bitterly. "That's all you ever say. Later. Soon. Eventually. You told me to come home. You said we'd be fine." "Because I missed you," Mom whispered. "No," Olivia shot back. "You missed having someone to dote on, someone who made you feel important. You never cared about what I needed." I watched them unravel each other, Olivia pacing, Mom stammering, both realizing the same thing. There was no plan, only delusion. Pete hadn't come home since yesterday. He'd stormed out after discovering there was no money, taking his car and leaving Olivia to deal with the fallout. Olivia had maxed out her third credit card. Mom had no savings. The house still had 6 years left on the mortgage. And the only person who'd been paying it, me, was gone. "You said we could use that money to start over," Olivia whispered, her voice dropping to something desperate. "There is no money," I stated flatly, "and there hasn't been for years." Olivia's face crumpled. She looked like a child realizing Santa wasn't real. "What about Dad's paperwork? The file folder?" "Gone," I said. "Mom used most of it to redo the bathroom, then the kitchen. Then she bought you that used Lexus when you got married." "That was from her savings," Olivia protested weakly. I shook my head. "No, that was from his insurance. I kept the receipts." Olivia turned to Mom with dawning horror. "Tell me that's not true." Silence stretched between them. "Tell me," Olivia demanded. Mom stared at the floor. I didn't want to worry you." Olivia let out a strangled noise and stormed toward the hallway. I stood watching the wreckage unfold with a strange detachment. Mom turned to me, eyes glistening. "Please, Melanie, help us." "Why would I?" "Because you're the only one who knows how to fix things." I raised an eyebrow. "You called me a parasite. You told me to get out, remember?" "I was angry," she pleaded. "I didn't mean it." "Yes, you did," I replied, "and now you're exactly where you put yourself." Olivia returned holding a torn envelope, her expression hollow. "It's empty," she said, voice bitter. "There's nothing, not even old bills." "I know," I nodded. "I checked. Years ago." Mom sank into the bare kitchen floor. The chairs were gone too, and buried her face in her hands. I looked at them both. The architect and victim of the same delusion. They'd kicked me out expecting comfort, backup, and cash. What they got was an empty house, a mountain of debt, and no one to blame but themselves. And they still thought I'd fix it. "I don't understand," Mom finally whispered. "What are we supposed to do now?" I didn't answer. "I mean the mortgage," she continued, voice rising. "The bills, the food. We don't even have a microwave anymore." "That was mine," I said simply. "All of it was mine." "You could have left something," Mom snapped. "You left me with nothing," I countered. "Just memories of being reminded I was second best. Just years of pretending I didn't hear you call me dull or plain or a burden." Olivia spun toward Mom. "And you told me there'd be money. You said Dad left enough for a second start, that we could pay off the cards, that Pete and I could—" Her voice broke. "You lied to us." "To both of us," I added. "But the difference is, I stopped believing you years ago." I reached into my bag and pulled out a white envelope, placing it on the counter. "What's this?" Olivia asked wearily. "My last mortgage receipt," I explained. "The loan is still in your name, Mother." You'll need to cover it now. 6 more years, fixed rate. Monthly payments aren't bad. I paused. Unless you're unemployed and broke, I guess. You can't expect us to pay this, Olivia snapped. I don't expect anything, I replied. I'm done expecting. I just wanted to leave you with the facts, since fantasy hasn't worked out so well. Olivia gritted her teeth. You're heartless. I turned to her. You came back for money, Olivia. Not for Mom, not for love, not even out of desperation. You were banking on a lie and using people to cover your losses. Don't pretend this is about family. Oh, and you're a saint, she shot back. You just abandoned your mother after everything she's been through. No, I said firmly. I stayed for years. I supported her. I paid for her home, groceries, gas, medical bills, insurance, and her little renovations. I gave her my 20s and she threw me out the second you came back. I met Mom's gaze directly. So no, I didn't abandon her. She traded me. Mom flinched. Olivia looked briefly shaken before masking it with anger. I can't believe you're just walking away. I gave a dry laugh. You should be grateful. I could have emptied the savings account before I left, but I didn't. Because unlike both of you, I still had an ounce of decency left. You're cruel, Mom whispered. No, I said, feeling something like peace settling over me. I'm free. I turned toward the door. Behind me, Olivia made a desperate sound. Well, good. We don't need you. I'll figure something out. Pete's talking to a guy about a job. I'm sure he is, I said, without looking back. Gambling's a tough industry to break into. I saw the bookie's texts on his phone when he left it charging in the kitchen last Christmas. I stopped at the threshold, hand on the doorknob. Take care of each other, I said finally. You wanted her, Mother. Now live with her. The door clicked behind me with a weight that felt symbolic. Years of pressure finally released. In my car, I sat for a moment looking at the darkened house. I'd spent 5 years trying to fill its emptiness. Now it was as hollow as their promises. I walked away from that house and never looked back. In the weeks that followed, I focused on rebuilding my life, deliberately avoiding any contact with my family. My lawyer sent a formal letter confirming I had relinquished all financial responsibility for the house, transferring the mortgage payments back to my mother's sole responsibility. It's been a month since that night. I haven't heard from them directly, but a former neighbor told me the house went on the market. Apparently it sat for 3 weeks before someone lowballed them, and they had to accept. My lawyer confirmed the sale was finalized, with the proceeds barely covering the remaining mortgage balance. Last I checked through my former coworker who lives nearby, they'd moved into a 1-bedroom apartment across town. Olivia works part-time at a bakery. Mom's doing admin at a dentist's office. Pete never got that job. According to the grapevine, he and Olivia have separated, though not officially divorced. I'd be lying if I said it didn't feel satisfying. But more than that, it feels quiet. My apartment is still modest, but it's mine. The furniture is mismatched, but cozy. I cook what I want. Watch whatever I want, sleep through the night without hearing cabinet doors slamming or whispered criticisms. My manager offered me a lead position last week. I said yes without hesitation. This morning, I stopped by a cafe I used to avoid because Mom called it pretentious. I brought a book, ordered a cappuccino, and sat by the window. Halfway through my drink, I caught myself smiling for no reason at all, and I realized something. They kicked me out thinking I was disposable, a placeholder, a parasite. But in the end, I was the only thing holding everything together. Now they have each other, and I have everything else. Freedom, peace, stability. And finally, the life I choose. Before you go, here's a quick bonus for sticking around. If you love learning and growing like I do, you need to try audiobooks. I've got an exclusive deal with Audible. Your first month is completely free. That's access to over 500,000 titles, zero cost to you. All the details are waiting in the description. Don't miss this one.